Konbanwa minasan supakami guru arukado desu. Yes, and we're back for another evening of live Clow card readings. So tonight, as usual, I will do my own general future, romance, and career readings. I will read a bit of Neville Goddard, and if anybody else would like their fortune told, please comment gender, zodiac sign, and if you would like a reading on general future, career, or romance yourself. We will also discuss what my journey into Buddhism lately has been like and rediscovering the old roots of what piqued my interest, of course, in this, actually stemming from the classic Canadian television show Radio Free Roscoe, which stars a very wonderful, close, and personal friend of mine named Kate Todd, who has become a music instructor and a solo artist after the show ended. Actually, there was a live video she did a few years ago, which could be found on her Facebook page, where she answered questions after the live performance. And she actually was trying to read the characters of my name, and she couldn't, so I had to explain how to say it, oddly enough. But it was really cool because she gave me positive, encouraging advice about sort of pursuing a career in music. So definitely support her and check her out. Anyways, we will now get into my own reading. O great Clow cards of Kurorido, using the power of the sun, the moon, and the stars, reveal to me what message you have for my general future using the infinite intelligence of universal consciousness. There is the return, the light, the float, the mirror, the hope, the nothing, the sleep, the change, the illusion, and the little. Okay, so I will explain the meaning behind these cards after I show you all of them. First, we have the return card first, followed by the light card, the float, the mirror, the hope, the nothing, the sleep, the change, the illusion, and the little card. All right, so the combination of all these cards gives me a very interesting energy. First of all, regarding the general future, the fact that the return card comes up, the return card symbolizes returning back to a moment in time, which kind of ties into the whole idea of, you know, uh, especially what I was saying, like the roots of discovering Buddhism and reflecting on what piqued my curiosity, being Radio Free Roscoe. Then we have the light card, finding my own inner light, a new light to sort of guide me on a different path. Then we get to the float card, sort of rising above old conditions, old circumstances, trying to reach new elevations and height. And thank you, Jonah. I will get to your reading right before we do the Neville Goddard after I finish my reading. Appreciate the comments. And anybody else who watches, feel free to comment your information as well. Next, we have the mirror card, which also is a symbol of reflecting, but it also is a card that indicates something on the inside being reflected outwards. Lately, there's been some stress, there's been some loneliness with me wanting to find my ideal partner, and I'm starting to see, possibilities of what the ideal partner could be, or at least trying to hold on to the hope that somewhere it is out there. There's also the hope, which ties into that idea of hope being a part of it as well. I will get your reading as well, Femi, and thank you for your comment as well. Appreciate it. I'm actually slowly making a playlist of all my songs. It'll be called Super Kami Guru Alucard Songs on YouTube, and I will make it public in case anybody's interested in just strictly listening to my music, and that way you will have like a full playlist because I've released over 200 songs. There's a lot now, so that way you could actually listen to any songs you might not have heard or any of the music videos as well. But yeah, back to what I was saying about the hope card. That is the indication of hope being on the horizon, the hope of finding that true love, that ideal partner. That's what my heart is seeking. And there's the hope that, new opportunities, new bridges of events will lead me to the desired one. Next, we have the nothing card, which is actually, oddly enough, the nothing card is the polar opposite of the hope. So it's almost like there's that balance. It's like there's nothing here at the moment, or maybe it appears like there's nothing, or maybe it's saying there's nothing I need to do, that, things will naturally work themselves out the right way. The sleep card, very interesting. I drew this one because I actually had such a tough time sleeping last night. Like, I was just very excited going to sleep because I started working on a new song. And then also when I actually did start sleeping, I had these really weird nightmares. Like, at first I was kind of in control, and then as the dream progressed, like, have you ever had those dreams where you are in control and then you start to lose control, like things get outside of your grasp? Like, oddly enough, that happened to me, and it was so frustrating because this person was like trying to force themselves on me, and at first, like, I had the ability to like kind of defend myself and fight myself off of them, like protect myself. But then when I tried to actually like draw out certain weapons to like protect myself against this crazy person who was like obsessed with me, I couldn't actually use the weapons. It was almost like I was in a video game where you have like a certain weapon, but like you can't use it because it's out of ammo or something. That's what it was like. It was very frustrating. It was kind of scary because that's when they started to close in on me. I couldn't protect myself anymore. Anyways, the sleep is indicating take time to sleep probably more, and enjoy the quality of sleep. Put yourself in a good state before entering sleep, as Neville Goddard always talks about as well. The change indicates, like, the change card basically says that it's about becoming someone new, someone different than who you are currently. And that I've been experiencing. Like, some things about me are still the same, yet I'm sort of refining my character, focusing on a lot of the sort of ideal traits of myself that I want to keep and enjoy about myself. The illusion indicates I'm perceiving things not exactly as they are lately, which ties into the idea of manifesting and being delusional. I can relate to that. And it's basically saying that I might see something a certain way at the moment, but it might not actually be the way that I see it to be, which also ties into Buddhism as well. The fact that our connection to God within, or Buddha, the Buddha within us, always has our best interest at heart. And it might seem like we're going through something terrible, like a trial, a tribulation, but really it's all for our best interest in the long run. And then the little card ties into that as well, that what might perceive to be a big issue is really not as big as it appears to be, that it's actually a small thing in the grand scheme of what is being plotted behind the scenes of the universe. So that is my general future. And then I will do my romance and career. Jonah, you didn't quite say if you would like general future, romance, or career, so please specify that before I get to your reading. And same with Finny. Male Scorpio, that's right. Female Scorpio, that's right. But yeah, specify if you would like general future, romance, or career. That way I know what to instruct the cards to read for you. It makes it that much easier. Appreciate your understanding in this. So now we will get into the romance reading of the cards. My romance situation, anyway. Oh, great Clow cards of Kurorido, using the power of the sun, the moon, and the stars, reveal to me the message regarding my romantic love life situation. release. The dash, the Libra, the glow, the move, and the fiery. Very interesting cards. Okay, so the dash is indicating like rushing. I might be rushing things. I might be trying to find things faster than they may be intended to be. Moving very quickly with a lot of things. That's the energy I'm picking up from this. The Libra indicates trying to find balance, like going for it, but not over pushing myself or putting pressure on myself when I might not get the desired result. The glow indicates like there is a glow about this grand scheme of this ideal relationship that will kind of speak to me and show me it's the right one when it comes along. In fact, I might already know what it is, and that's probably what I should focus on. The move indicates movement. Things are changing. Times are changing. They're heading in a new direction from where they were. Especially in this next year, I could expect to see a lot of movement, a lot of changes, hence why I got the change card for the general future. And then the fiery card, which indicates a lot of fire, a lot of passion. It's very heated. It's intense. This romantic connection that is probably approaching me if it's not already arrived yet. So we have, I will show the cards before we continue. The dash, the Libra, the glow, the move, and the fiery. So that's my romantic reading. And now I will get into my career reading, and then if the other people who commented before will just let me know what type of reading they would want specifically, I will give their readings as well before I read from Neville Goddard. Anyways, great Clow cards of Kurorido, using the power of the sun, the moon, and the stars, reveal to me the message regarding my career in the near future. Release. Gotta shuffle these more, I think. I'm getting the same cards as last time. Usually I'm pretty good about that, but what it is it's probably the way I shuffled them. All of them ended up back on top. Okay, romance and career. Thank you. Okay, so I will get into this. Just let me shuffle them a bit better. Okay, I think we're good. All right, let's try this again. Great Clow cards of Kurorido, using the power of the sun, the moon, and the stars, reveal to me the message regarding my career in the nearby future. Release. Okay, the wood. Okay. The sakura, the sweet, the lock, and the power. All right, so I will show these cards now. The wood indicates very peaceful nature, but standing strong and firm, holding on to what I believe in. The Sakura card indicates like being the hero of my own story, doing what feels right in my heart, being a dreamer, feeling inspired by what is natural to me. The sweet indicates like that, some really good sweet opportunities are going to come along the way, and it's going to be very promising in the long run. Very good things are actually unfolding as far as the career, which could be referring to the fact that I do have my 15th recorded album already complete, and I'm working on 16 as we speak. The lock indicates being focused, locking myself down and tying myself to, what would be the main goal at the time and focusing on that, which I guess it would be getting the 16th album done. And then the power card is the indication of a shift in power, growing in power as far as like perhaps the music career, or even the power of influence with the music of my career over others. So that's a very good sign of good things to come. Now, for Jonah, we will do romance and career, since you asked for both. Great Clow cards of Kurorido, using the power of the sun, the moon, and the stars, reveal to me the message for Jonah, the female Scorpio, in regards to romance and career. So we will draw 10 cards with this reading. Release. Oh, the freeze, the maze, the light, the mirror. Must be a mirror night. The shot and a light night, because we got one of those earlier. The through, the dash, the sword, the hope, and the windy. Okay, so you said romance and career. Now I actually pick up on the energy of exactly which one of these is which, just on a natural process. Now the freeze card indicates, like, with your career, you may have feel like it's kind of at a standstill. Not necessarily that things are bad, but things, if they are good, are, consistently good. It also could indicate that, if things are bad, they've kind of not been so great at the time. But it seems like it's been very consistent with regards to your career, either good or bad. The maze indicates that you have many choices, many options of where you should go with this career, or how you could advance it, progress further with it. The light indicates that this is kind of like what keeps you going. This is like the light at the end of the tunnel. With your career, you're very focused, you're very determined and driven towards it. And it's something that you kind of put a lot of faith into as sort of the cornerstone of your everyday life. The mirror is indicating that you're starting to see your own image of yourself in the mirror as being this successful person. You're very proud of it. You're very well accomplished. And it's starting to really reveal itself to others. Like, because you have this perception when you look at yourself, other people are starting to see it and they're starting to feel off that as well. The shot indicates that you're in the process of taking, like, a very good opportunity, a shot at something. It could be very big, career related, or it could be just a new opportunity is opened up where it might take a lot more faith or courage than it usually does, but you're going for it and you feel really confident that you will get it in the long run. So I will do the career cards first, and then I will get into your romance. All right, so the freeze, as I was showing you, the maze, the light, the mirror, the shot. So that was your career cards. Now your romance cards are the through, the dash, the sword, the hope, and the windy. So, okay, with these cards, it's very interesting because the through card indicates struggle of going through something. You've probably gone through either a relationship that really just didn't work out well, or it was a relationship that, like, you enjoyed certain parts of it, but especially towards the end, perhaps there were a lot of struggles, which makes you hesitant if you would want to go through such a thing again. The dash is indicating that, like, especially with the through card, maybe before you reflect back on that past relationship, as you may have rushed things faster than you would have liked to, and you regret it, and you kind of feel guarded that you wouldn't want to make the same mistake again. Hence the sword card. You're very protective of yourself moving forward because of past experience. But at the same time, you do want to fight for that one right romantic love interest that would actually make you feel, sort of complete the set. You don't want just anybody, but you want somebody that will be in harmony with how you laid out the foundation of your life to be. The hope indicates that you're starting to have more hope that good opportunities, as far as that could come. You might be a bit hesitant, hence the sword guard being guarded, but you do have sort of a new sense of how you feel about it. The windy indicates that the winds of change are taking course, that you're now starting to look at things as far as the whole of your romantic situation in a different way, that the winds have kind of blown things of the past away and they're clearing a new way for you moving forward in the future. So hopefully that helps. The through, the dash, the sword, the hope, and the windy. Now, Finney didn't end up telling me what he wanted me to direct the cards towards, so I will get back to that reading if he does comment, whether it's general, future, romance, or career, after I read a bit of Neville Goddard. That way we could still get that in part of the program tonight, because I definitely like to read some of this. It's very informative and helpful, and there's a lot of knowledge in it. So, okay, chapter 2 is Assumptions Become Facts. Now, we might not be able to read all of the chapter today just because of time constraints. Actually, no, this chapter is actually fairly short, so we should be able to get through it. I was going to say we'd read half tonight, half next Tuesday, but we should be fine. I will watch my time. If we do run a little over half an hour, oh well. Anyways, men believe in the reality of the external world because they do not know how to focus and condense their powers to penetrate its thin crust. This book has only one purpose: the removing of the veil of the senses, the traveling into another world. To remove the veil of the senses, we do not employ great effort. The objective world vanishes by turning our attention away from it. We have only to concentrate on the state desired in order to mentally see it, but to give it reality so that it will become an objective fact, we must focus attention upon the invisible state until it has the feeling of reality. When through concentrated attention our desire appears to possess the distinctness and feeling of reality, we have given it the right to become a visible, concrete fact. If it is difficult to control the direction of your attention while in a state akin to sleep, you may find gazing fixedly into an object very helpful. Do not look at its surface, but into and beyond any plain object such as a wall, a carpet, or any other object which possesses depth. Arrange it to return as little reflection as possible. Imagine then that in this depth you are seeing and hearing what you want to see and hear until your attention is exclusively occupied by the imagined state. At the end of your meditation, when you awake from your controlled waking dream, you feel as though you had returned from a great distance. The visible world, which you had shut out, returns to consciousness, and by its very presence informs you that you have been self-deceived into believing that the object of your contemplation was real. But if you know that consciousness is the one and only reality, you remain faithful to your vision, and by this sustained mental attitude, conform your gift of reality and prove that you have the power to give reality to your desire, that they may become visible, concrete facts. You're welcome. Anyways, define your ideal and concentrate your attention upon the idea of identifying yourself with your ideal. Assume the feeling of being it, the feeling that would be yours were you already the embodiment of your ideal. Then live and act upon this conviction. This assumption, though denied by the senses, if persisted in, will become fact. You will know when you've succeeded in fixing the desired state in consciousness by simply looking mentally at the people you know. In dialogues with yourself, you are less inhibited and more sincere than in actual conversations with others. Therefore, the opportunity for self-analysis arises when you are surprised by your mental conversations with others. If you see them as you formerly saw them, you have not changed your concept of self. For all changes of concepts of self result in a changed relationship to your world. In your meditation, allow others to see you as they would see you, were you this new concept of self a concrete fact. You always seem to others an embodiment of the ideal you inspire. Therefore, in meditation, when you contemplate others, you must be seen by them mentally as you would be seen by them physically, were your concept of self an objective fact. That is, in meditation, you imagine that they see you expressing that which you desire to be. If you assume that you are what you want to be, your desire is fulfilled, and in fulfillment, all longing is neutralized. You cannot continue desiring what you have already realized. Your desire is not something you labor to fulfill. It is recognizing something you already possess. It is assuming the feeling of being that which you desire to be. Believing and being are one. The conceiver and his conception are one. Therefore, that which you conceive yourself to be can never be so far off as even to be near, for nearness implies separation. If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. Being is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. If you assume that you are that which you want to be, then you will see others as they are related to your assumption. If, however, it is the good of others that you desire, then in meditation you must represent them to yourself as already being that which you desire them to be. It is through desire that you rise above your present sphere, and the road of longing or from longing to fulfillment is shortened as you experience in imagination what you would experience in the flesh, were you already the embodiment of the ideal you desire to be. I have stated that man has at every moment of time the choice before him which of several futures he will encounter. But the question arises, how is this possible when the experiences of man awake in three-dimensional worlds are predetermined? As his observation of an event before it occurs implies, this ability to change the future will be seen if we liken the experiences of life on earth to this printed page. Man must experience events on earth singly and successively in the same way that you are now experiencing the words of this page. Imagine that every word on this page represents a single sensory impression. To get the context, to understand my meaning, you focus your vision on the first word in the upper left corner, and then move your focus across the page from left to right, letting it fall on the words singly and successively. By the time your eyes reach the last word on this page, you have extracted my meaning. Suppose, however, on looking at the page with all the printed words thereon equally present, you decided to rearrange them. You could, by rearranging them, tell an entirely different story. In fact, you could tell many different stories. A dream is nothing more than uncontrolled four-dimensional thinking, or the rearrangement of both past and future sensory impressions. Man seldom dreams of events in the order in which he experiences them when awake. He usually dreams of two or more events which are separated in time, fused into a single sensory impression, or his dream. He so completely rearranges his single waking sensory impressions that he does not recognize them when he encounters them in his waking state. For example, I dreamed that I delivered a package to the restaurant in my apartment building. The hostess said to me, "You can't leave that there." Whereupon the elevator operator gave me a few letters, and as I thanked him for them, he in turn thanked me. At this point, the night elevator operator appeared and waved a greeting to me. The following day, as I left my apartment, I picked up a few letters, which had been placed at my door. On my way down, I gave the day elevator operator a tip and thanked him for taking care of my mail, whereupon he thanked me for the tip. On my return home that day, I overheard a doorman say to me and say to the delivery man, "You cannot leave that there." As I was about to take the elevator up to my apartment, I was attracted by a familiar face in the restaurant, and as I looked in, the hostess greeted me with a smile. Late that night, I escorted my dinner guests to the elevator, and as I said goodbye to them, the night operator waved good night to me. By simply rearranging a few of the single sensory impressions I was destined to encounter, and by fusing two or more of them into a single sensory impression, I constructed a dream which differed quite a bit from my waking experience. When we have learned to control the movements of our attention in the four-dimensional world, we shall be able to consciously create circumstances in the three-dimensional world. We learn this control through the waking dream, where our attention can be maintained without effort, for attention minus effort is indispensable to changing the future. We can, in a controlled waking dream, consciously construct an event which we desire to experience in the three-dimensional world. The sensory impressions we use to construct our waking dream are present realities displaced in time or the four-dimensional worlds. All that we do in constructing the waking dream is to select from the vast array of sensory impressions those which, when they are properly arranged, imply that we have realized our desire. With the dream clearly defined, we relax in a chair and induce a state of consciousness akin to sleep, a state which, although bordering on sleep, leaves us in conscious control of the movements of our attention. When we have achieved that state, we experience in imagination what we would experience in reality were this waking dream an objective fact. In applying this technique to change the future, it is important always to remember that the only thing which occupies the mind during the waking dream is the waking dream. The predetermined actions which implies the fulfillment of our desire, how the waking dream becomes physical fact, is not our concern. Our acceptance of the waking dream as physical reality wills the means to its fulfillment. Let me again lay the foundation of changing the future, which is nothing more than a controlled waking dream. 1. Define your objective. Know definitely what you want. 2. Construct an event which you believe you will encounter following the fulfillment of your desire, something that will have the action of self-predominant, an event which implies the fulfillment of your desire. 3. Immobilize the physical body and induce a state of consciousness akin to sleep. Then mentally feel yourself right into the proposed action, imagining all the while that you are actually performing the action here and now, so that you experience in imagination what you would experience in the flesh were you now to realize your goal. That's 3. Experience has convinced me that this is the perfect way to achieve my goal. However, my own many failures would convict me later were I to imply that I have completely mastered the movements of my attention. I can, however, with the ancient teacher say, this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before. I press towards the mark for the prize. And that concludes the reading of Neville Goddard. So, since the other person didn't comment what to give them a reading for, I will just basically briefly sum up my experience in discovering Buddhism and why I've been leaning more towards it. So when I was a kid, there was a very popular show in Canada here called Radio Free Roscoe, which was actually filmed in parts of Toronto and Hamilton. There's some scene locations I'm like, I know where that is. It's like a few streets down in Hamilton. Like, I recognize many of it. And I related a lot to the characters in the show. That's probably why I became a recording artist, because of Shady Lane, played by Lily Randall. That character, which was the friend I told you about who gave me a shout out in one of her live Facebook performances, Kate Tom. The other character I related a lot to, which I always found him fascinating and interesting, was DJ Smog, or Travis Strong was his character's name. Now, his character was a foreign exchange student. He'd been all over the place, everywhere from London to Hong Kong to Japan to Paris to Spain, everywhere, right? And he was very fascinating, and he would always quote Buddha throughout the show. He was like the first time, especially in any show I could think of here in North America, where we actually had like a Buddhist character who would quote Buddhist philosophy. Usually we have like very overly Christian characters as sort of the religious character in a group of friends in a show, but you never really see a Buddhist character. So it was fascinating. It was sort of like a glimpse into a new world. And I always really liked his character. And of course, he liked a lot of other things. He was into producing and mixing, which I do as well. He also loved things about Japanese culture and all these great things. And they were very interesting and fascinating to me. And I look back, I always learned a few things from him about Buddhism watching that show. And then, of course, I had actually been in a situation where one of my Japanese friends named Yuko, who was Buddhist, basically reached out to a North American Buddhist group and got them to contact me. They invited me to a few live Zoom calls to, learn about the philosophy behind it, the beliefs, and understand it. And I could honestly say it's really been a rewarding experience because of all the concepts around it. Like, it's been great to learn about Buddhism because it doesn't have anything against other religions. We're actually taught to be very accepting of other people, whether they're Christians, Muslims, Jewish people, whether they practice New Age thought movements, anything really would be accepted because they would look at it as, even though they have different beliefs, we all must strive to find wisdom and learn from each other. So it's a very open, accepting, like, sort of group. And I could say they love having somebody who doesn't really know that much but knows a lot about other religions, and especially Neville Goddard and all this stuff, coming and conversing with them because they learn things from me, and then they of course teach me more about Buddhism. So it works really well in sort of a circular motion. Everybody is constantly learning something from each other, and that's the whole main concept of it. And the ideas behind it too is basically we all have desires, but we have to look at our desires through the eyes of Buddha, not feel suffering and let them hold us down to the point we become miserable because of them, but more so try to find peace in the sense that, the God or the Buddha within us is looking out for our best interest, that everything in the long run is all part of the universe being connected. Everything in the universe is connected. That's why Buddhists wouldn't judge somebody else who's a different religion or believes something else, because everything is interconnected. Everything is about finding Zen and peace within yourself, and you would want the same peace for others. It also ties into Jesus's idea in the Bible: do unto others as you would want done unto you, the golden rule. You would want everybody else to be at peace and be happy and not suffer, because you wouldn't want to either. So it's the idea that everything is interconnected, and that's why we're taught to teach each other, love each other, and be at peace with not only ourselves but with others. And every situation, it really comes up as like a challenge or a test, a trial, a tribulation. Really, it's how can we approach that situation as Buddha would. And really, that is like living as the Buddha and finding peace and enlightenment even in the worst circumstances. And then you naturally become more at peace, because if you try to look at it as everything is working out for your best interest, no matter how it appears at the moment, it kind of takes the pressure off. Then you're not worried. You're not really as stressed out. You might not have all the answers, but that's why all of us are seeking two things in this life. We're seeking enlightenment, to be at peace, to no longer desire things to the point of reaching suffering. And we're also seeking wisdom and understanding so that we may understand how the world works and have the wisdom to know how to live the best lives that we can for the sake of others as well as ourselves, because everything is connected. Anyways, that's our show for this evening. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. Until next time, I'm Super Kami Guru Alucard. Peace out. Oyasumi nasai. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. Tomodachi. Matane.